Seabrook is one of those legendary places that I heard about when I moved to southeast Louisiana. A place where people would catch giant trout even from shore, from boats, where boats would stack up so close to each other that you could only jig straight down, you couldn't cast. But after Katrina, the Corps of Engineers put in a number of features that significantly changed the fishing in Seabrook. Most notably, people blame the change in the fishing at Seabrook on the dam in the Mississippi River Gulf outlet. Now, if you've been watching my videos lately, you'll know that I've been fishing at the dam on the Murgo and catching some nice trout down there. But ironically, that's what negatively affected the fishing at Seabrook. It stopped the salt water from flowing all the way up through and coming into Lake Pontchartrain. The area, which is the inlet to the Industrial Canal, but in Lake Pontchartrain, has been scoured out by years of current flow. And so you have this big canyon that was formed in the lake bed, and you have these nice drop-offs that drop from 15 to 20 foot down into 30, 40 plus feet. And as you know, drop-offs are great cover for predator fish. And also, that deep water will hold fish in very cold and very hot weather. The other notable feature right next to the Seabrook Inlet is the New Orleans Lakefront Airport. And this large piece of land has also some interesting features to a fisherman, notably a lot of concrete walls and a long catwalk which holds lights for the airport runways. And so all of this structure can attract and hold fish certain times of the year. There was a nice video put out by Todd Masson where he filmed and interviewed Captain Ty Hibbs, and they were fishing in this area around the airport. And I'll link that video here, but they showed how productive that area can be for trout. I haven't had the pleasure of fishing Seabrook much, but I have fished it a couple of times in the last year, and I can tell you when not to fish it. And that's when there's north or west wind blowing into it, because it gets rough, and that seems to shut down the trout bite significantly. Last week when I was out there, we were fishing in that rough water with a west wind, and we really just caught white trout and croakers. And I know that Jeffrey Oliver, who I was with, had caught trout just a couple days before when the wind direction was different and conditions were different. But my impression of this area is that if you're doing well there, you've earned it. It's kind of like jigging on the trestles. There's particular techniques that you need to learn to fish this well and be successful catching speckled trout. I think a lot of that is due to this deep canyon. You need to know where the fish will hang on the drop-offs or deep. You need to know how to position your boat and what tackle to use, what bait to use. There is a public launch right next to the inlet. It's incredibly close to that fishing spot. But you can also launch at a nice private facility inside the Industrial Canal. However, the Industrial Canal is currently closed to traffic going out into the lake because they are doing maintenance on the gate. So if you launch at Pontchartrain Landing there, you can't get into the lake. So this is what we're taking cover from. Boat's anchored right there, sitting on the deck, enjoying some coffee. It's good. Another thing that intrigues me about the Seabrook area is its close proximity to some of my other favorite winter, fall, and even spring fishing areas. So if you go down the Industrial Canal, you will get to the Intercoastal Waterway, and that takes you right past Bow Brothers, which is another location where there are drop-offs and good ledges to fish. Also takes you past the now defunct Hot Water Canal, but also to the Michoud Slip, where I have a number of videos from last fall where I was quite successful catching trout, and really had some beautiful water in there, and it was a great place to fish. You are of course also very close to the famous Great Wall of Chalmette, and the rocks along the Mr. Go and the marsh along the Mr. Go are all great winter, fall and winter and spring fishing areas, and I have quite a few videos from last year when I was fishing this area for trout.
Got him? Uh-oh. Start us off. Start us off. Stingray, stingray.
Look at that. Luck is changing. 2 fish in a row, almost doubled up.
Getting bigger and bigger. Every time I catch one. By like 5 o'clock, we'll be catching speckled trout. Right? Big speckled trout. They keep adding up like this.
They're getting bigger and bigger.
Now we got to catch the white trout. We got to go up the food chain.
So we wrapped it up. It was after lunch, probably 1 o'clock. We didn't really catch much today, but I didn't mind. I learned something about Seabrook, this area. I've never really fished it much, so I learned about where the holes are, how the current flows through here, likely spots to catch fish. I mean, Jeffrey thought probably it was that strong west wind that really screwed up the bite, at least the speck bite. And Joe caught one 12-inch speckled trout, and that was it. But anyway, I don't mind. I learned something. Had a good day with a couple good guys, so I had a good time. Hey, so hit subscribe if you want to keep up with my videos, and I'll definitely see you on the water sometime.